Hello, hello, lovelies, and welcome back to Loving Life with Court. Today, I have your beauty witch in the six, Angela. Hi, Angela. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so
Of
excited.
course, of course. Well, I got to know a little bit about you, and I'm sure all of the listeners would love to learn more about who you are, where you're from, what your story is. Before we dive in today, do you mind just sharing a little bit of your background and what's brought you to being the amazing beauty witch in the six?
Okay, that goes way back to the beginning of my time, 44 years ago. No, I was actually quite psychic even as a child. I pretty much came out as soon as I could talk. I was predicting, and to the point where it's scared. So, very Catholic Italian family.
Hmm.
This kind of stuff is scary. So, at 10 years old, I realized that I was talking to people that nobody else could see. And I knew things I shouldn't know, and I could predict things that weren't always happy predictions, but would still come true. And so at 10 years old, I realized I had to hide my gift. And being older than the internet, I had to learn on my own. And through my teenage years, I started collecting the multitude of oracle decks and tarot sets I have. And COVID came, gave me the gift of desperation, and I came into the spiritual broom closet and onto TikTok, and here we are. The rest is history.
That's amazing. For the
Yeah.
listeners, I found Angela on TikTok probably, I think I said 5 years, 4 or 5 years ago, like right
COVID.
when
Yeah, probably
TikTok
COVID. Yeah.
boomed, and fell in love with your content. I put it on my bucket list that we would one day meet, and look where we are. I'm completely fangirling on this beautiful angel.
Thank you. You guys probably, I don't know if it's going to be a video or not, but I'm like, yay, yay, here we are, right? Talking, it's manifesting, right? You put it on your
Yeah.
bucket list. If you don't get it, then it's because you don't believe you can,
Of course, exactly. And
right?
I knew I could. And
Hmm.
now here we are.
Yeah.
Now, the podcast, we've shared a little bit about what my mission is here. For anyone that's a new listener, my journey is learning what it means to live a life that is loved. And Angela, how would you define a life that is truly loved, even when it can be difficult?
Well, difficult things happen. A lot of people think that my entire life is always sunshine and butterflies, but it is what you make of it,
Hmm.
right? So, perfect example is I have a friend of mine, Amanda. We work together and we spend a lot of time together. And I manifested this house that I'm in. It has an indoor pool. 2 days before we move in, we get notice that the pool is broken, and that if we assume the house, that we are acknowledging that it's broken and that they're no longer responsible for it. And so we took it. We go to fix it. We think we fix it. We fill the pool up with water, and 2 truckloads of water end up in the basement in real time. Like the water's dumping into my basement. And I go
Oh
downstairs
my.
with Amanda, and the water's up to the bottom stairs in the basement. And I was just like, well, I asked for a pool and I got two, one in the pool room and one in my basement. And Amanda's like, I don't know how you do it, Ange. I said, well, I
Yeah.
can't do anything about it. It's happening.
Hmm.
Like, go get me some socks. We're gonna stuff the pipes because it's obviously going in the pipes. Like, I don't know what else to do. My
Yeah.
husband's in Brampton. I'm in Oshawa. It's gonna take him time to get here, and the truck guys are gone. We're a house
Yeah.
full of women, and I'm like, I don't know. Get some socks and stuff it in there. We got to stuff the water, right? But what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I
Of
can, I
course.
can cry about it. I could be like, oh my God, that happened. But like, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I manifested so well that I got two pools.
You literally went with the flow as it came.
100%. Yeah, you can't. I'm a Pisces through and through. And I was like, well, you know, 18
Oh
hours
shit.
and four shot backs later,
Oh my
we got the water out
gosh.
of the house, right? But that was it. And luckily, there was some water already in the basement that has come because my house was built in 1854, so it's an old one.
Mhm.
But there was some water that was coming in through the foundation, and I had said, maybe we should put our stuff up on skids. So that
Mm.
saved a lot of stuff. That the foresight to lift things up
Yeah.
was already there, so that
No kidding.
we didn't lose too much stuff.
So moral of the story is take it as it comes
And
and
listen to
try
your
to be
intuition.
prepared before it
Yeah.
comes.
Listen to your intuition. My
Yeah,
husband was like,
exactly.
no, the basement's high and dry. We'll put it in this corner over here. And I was like, I think we should just put things up like a little. So
Yeah.
we had tables downstairs. My husband collects comic books. I collect tarot decks. He collects comic
Oh
books.
my.
We're probably par on par for how much we spent over the years, but
Yeah.
maybe he spent more actually. Comic books, some of them are worth a lot more. But I made him put those up on tables.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
his
everything was
comic
good.
books are up. Yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly, to this day, he was just like, I still can't even believe that we lost some Christmas decorations.
Wow.
And that was
And
it.
you were able to save everything else. That's wild.
Yeah.
My
So
goodness.
that's the thing. But yeah, following your passion. Here we
And
are.
how's your pool now? Do you have a pool now?
Okay, so yes, I have a pool. It's right there. I look at it all day, every day from where I'm sitting. But we definitely found the leak recently. It's been about a year since all this happened.
Yeah.
We've had like 7 or 8 different pool companies come in to try and find the leak. Nobody could find the leak. The very first, I guess, pipe, vent, jet, whatever it is called in a pool. We bought a camera off of Amazon. The very first one that I went to, we found a crack.
Okay.
So we recently just got that fixed. But now, so anyways, there's another leak somewhere.
Oh no.
So
What do you think
just
this is all
recently.
signifying?
Honestly, when things are chaotic in my life and when there is major change, how I get affected is with water.
Mm,
Honestly, it's not a joke when I say that. I can go on live and say, guys, what happens to me when I get ungrounded? When big change is coming, people say something with water. When I was manifesting my truck, my Escalade, I always wanted it, and it was the only thing on my bucket list that I didn't have out of 100 things.
wow. And you got it.
99 of them. It wasn't until October that I realized I had checked off 99 things because I found a book from 2025. And
Wow.
the only thing on there was an Escalade by my 44th birthday. And so I was like, guys, I got to get an Escalade. Like, how am I going to do this, right?
Yeah.
So I was telling everybody, I was like, okay, it's the only thing on the list. I got to do it now. It's got to happen. This is it. And my girlfriend says to me, Angela, like, that seems easy to me. Why don't you have an Escalade? And I was like, I don't really know. That was
Yeah.
just before Christmas. So I put on my wishing pine cones on January 21st for winter solstice. On January 31st or December 31st into January 1st, I did wishing pine cones again, put it back on the list.
Wow.
On January 2nd, I went outside for the first time in like a week because I hadn't gone anywhere since like Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Go to get in my car, my steering's not working.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh no. There was 5 things leaking under my truck.
Oh my
And Justin, you
gosh.
did it on purpose. You did this because you wanted the Escalade. And I said,
Yeah.
well, I didn't lay on the ground on January 1st and drill 5 holes into the bottom of my car.
Yeah.
But yes, this is what I wanted. And within 3 weeks, I had the Escalade.
That's wild. You know,
So, and, TikTok fortune teller that doesn't do
yeah.
their taxes, don't, tell the government. But
You're so funny. You got it. You got
I,
it.
I have a $200,000 vehicle sitting in my driveway. But guess what happened?
Hmm.
So last week the pool leaks into the basement again. Fine, we've got this. We know we plugged it up. We're like, okay, we see this coming, right? So we
Yeah.
we know there's another hole.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sitting here on live yesterday or 2 days ago. I go to open my water to pour into my Starbucks refillable cup,
Yeah.
and it's carbonated because I like bubbly water. It
Hmm.
explodes everywhere on
So what
live.
happened? So what
It's in
happened?
my hair. It's all over my screen. I'm like, oh shit, something bad's like, what's happening? What's happening? Go outside yesterday morning and the Escalade's leaking. It's got a leak. I'm
No.
not even joking. I'm not even joking. So my husband, right now, the car's not even in my driveway right now because Justin's taken it.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, something crazy is going to happen. So I was not shocked when TikTok took off.
Yeah.
When I somehow went viral yesterday, which I manifested 150K, I wanted 150K by September 1st. We're at 153 now.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Congrats.
thank you. But I knew yesterday
Yeah.
morning when I woke up, it was gonna be a crazy day, and it was.
Yeah.
Truthfully, it
No
was.
kidding.
So that's that. But yeah, that's a lot about me. I'm sorry.
No. Never apologize. I was going to say that even myself, I've gotten to that point. Every time I have a breakdown, like every few months, I have like a really big breakdown. I'm like, my life's
Hmm.
falling apart, and I cry my eyes out.
What am
And
I doing this
yeah,
for? Am I doing the right
yeah.
thing? Am I on the right path? Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. The most recent one I had, I was with my husband, and bless his soul because he just listens to my crazy. And I'm like crying, and I was like, I'm also trying to be really positive because I know every time I have a breakdown, something amazing is coming. And it's so true. Like when
It
things
is.
feel like they're falling apart and everything's just hitting the ceiling, that is the times where so many amazing things come. Like every part of my life, I've had to go through the ringer for something great to come out of
Are
it.
you a
So now,
Capricorn?
my husband is. I'm a Virgo.
Okay, yeah, Virgos. So Capricorns, that is a story, like that is something that is known for them too. And I find with
Hmm.
Virgos, sometimes you put things into such categorical things
Hmm.
that when something doesn't fit into a category,
Yep.
typically change, doesn't fit, it's
Yep.
not something you can control, then
Hmm.
it can feel devastating.
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh
it's
yeah.
like finally you're like you found the spot for that to go and it's like explodes and you're like, this is what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
Literally.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
so on par for me, like 100%. Because I'm very much like, if I can't see the end of something, if I can't fit it all in a perfect little puzzle, everything's falling apart. And
And
that
everything
kind of,
has like a strict timeline, but then like
yes.
certain things you can't predict.
Yep.
Well, I mean, maybe I could, no, I'm just joking. But like, you know what
You
I mean?
could.
Like there's
Yeah.
maybe there's certain things that can't account for all the time, like a certain run of red lights
Hmm.
or an accident on the 401. So because sometimes you can be so regimented
Hmm.
that you can be late for things too, right? So
Yep. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I'm learning to like disconnect from those things and really understand that I am not in control of anything in my life, but at the same time, I'm in complete control. Which
that's
makes
it.
no
What
sense, but it
it's
does.
scary. It's scary. And the thing is to get comfortable in the chaos,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
It's what you do with it when it happens.
Hmm.
Do you know what I
For
mean? Like
sure.
things are going to happen
Hmm.
and you're either going to dwell in it and make it, the cross you bear,
Hmm.
or you're going to learn from it
Hmm.
and be even better off than you were before it happened.
Exactly. That's no, that's
Hmm.
very on par. Like even, a few in November, it'll be almost a year, November 2023, I quit my job. I was like, Mom and Dad, I'm gonna make it on Instagram and my podcast is gonna blow up in a month. And I was like, I'm manifesting. I was doing everything that I thought I should be doing. I quit my job. I left. Nothing worked out. Nothing went to plan. And I realized that for so long this was something that I was chasing and not something that I was no like I knew that it was going to happen. It was just like, I hope it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like,
Right?
I just have to do
And
all this stuff.
you have
Go
to give
ahead.
yourself permission to actually succeed.
Yeah, the fear of
Hmm.
success is so wild. I think a lot of people talk about like the fear of failure, but the fear of success is just like a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
nother level.
Yeah. Because what happens when you're successful?
Hmm. You
Then
have no
what? How does
idea.
it change? For somebody who doesn't like change because it doesn't fit in a pretty little box,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Then what? And it's
Yeah.
that fear of like, then you have standards you have to live up to,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And not just the standards of others, but the standards of myself too, right? Which are
Yeah,
even,
and the only person that success matters to is you.
hmm,
And what
yeah.
what does success look like for you,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
Good
And
point.
are you comparing it to other people's success?
Mm-hmm.
I always say it's very
Comparing.
important to stay in your own lane, to follow your passion, but stay in your lane.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that I was like the first person on TikTok to use dowsing rods. And
Okay.
I don't, you probably remember, I
Yeah.
rarely use them anymore because everyone and their cousin uses them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you know what? I like to be different. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be the same,
Yeah. You
right?
always
And
have
and
to like,
in my difference is my success, and that's the same with you.
yeah, exactly. That's what took me so long to realize is that for so long I'm trying to fit into a box. Like, oh, she made it by doing this, or she has this body by doing that, or she feels this great because she does this. And I didn't realize that like I wasn't actually listening to what I wanted, and I wasn't actually doing the things that I love doing, and I was just trying to fit into this box. And great to the people that have done that, but I always like to think like go in that box and then take one step out. That's my, like, you can do something that's similar to people. Like, I have a podcast, a bunch of people have a podcast, but my podcast is going to be like no other. That's
Absolutely.
my whole philosophy.
And it's because
right?
you're following your passion, and what you want to do is unlike what other people are doing, and possibly the delivery, the actual going there and doing it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of people have great ideas, but they don't have the courage to do it.
Yep.
Like
exactly.
it would have been a lot for you. Just quitting your job is one thing. People quit their jobs, you can get another job. But to tell your parents,
Yeah.
I have no plan B.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a TikTok fortune teller. And a lot of people say, when did you start to? I've been doing this my whole life. Like, even like I have a degree in psychology, and up until COVID, I didn't really use it. Right? Like, I got a job in high school at Carol Baker Visage, if you're a local like Torontonian. I don't know if it's probably Canada wide, but I started waxing there. And then from there I started renting a room in a tanning salon at 16 years old.
Wow.
Right? And then that put me through university. And then after university, I was like, well, I'm making, like, I was charging $80 a Brazilian wax because nobody in the 90s was waxing Brazilians outside of Toronto. So I was charging $80. Well, I can do 4 in an hour.
You're making bank.
What 20-year-old is making that kind of money cash?
Yeah.
I'm older than debit. Right? People paid cash. Pre-HST, you had, because I was a service you didn't have to pay HST. It was PST and GST, and you didn't have to pay. Those are the good old days.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, even as a psychologist, I'm only going to get $150 an hour. I was making more. Right?
Yep.
So always followed my passion, even though my mom was like, it's not a real job. You're a prostitute. You touch private parts for a living. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Line them up. Let's go.
Bring me more.
Bring me more. Tell all your friends, Mom.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you know what I should do? I was like, you're giving me a really good idea, Mom. I should set up a camera in my room and charge people to watch me waxing Brazilians. I think to this day it would make money.
It would.
OnlyFans who?
There has to be a fetish for that. There has to be.
I bet you there is. I can guarantee it. I'll even dress in my scantily, I'll dress it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll wax you in a leather thong if you need that from me.
Tie them to the bed.
Absolutely. Spread eagle. I can
so
guarantee
funny.
there's more. I think we just came up with a new business idea.
We did. We should
I'm
do
telling
it.
you. Subscription. I got it all down. Ready? You want to hear what my plan was?
Let's do it.
People will get 2 months for free at $9.99 US an hour. By the time 2 months comes by, they've forgotten their password. They don't know how to cancel the stuff. It's automatically coming off, even if they have seen enough Brazilians to last them a lifetime.
Yeah. You got it. You're on it.
Look at Dr. Pimple Popper. People are watching people's pimples getting popped.
Yeah.
They'll watch vaginas getting hair ripped out of it. I could do manzillions too. I'm sure there's a market for that. But like, who's going to pay for that? Why not?
Yeah.
I'll also tell you your fortune while you're there. We'll have your whole life figured out while I'm ripping hair out of your private parts.
And it'll be recorded. You can keep it with you forever.
The gift that keeps on giving.
You're so funny.
It's true. Why do people look down on it?
Yeah.
I'm going to call my gynecologist a prostitute. They're touching private parts for money. Thanks, Ma. I love you. Right?
No hate against
true.
Mom.
I'm joking, but true stories. Like that is for real. She thought it was not appropriate for me to be doing that.
Yeah. Oh, I have a very similar story. I mean, I graduated, I did college, did university,
What'd
did
you
what I
take?
thought I was supposed to do. I did social service work and
Okay.
then child and youth studies, my BA
Okay.
for child
I
and
won't,
youth.
I'm going to try not to read you right now.
Go ahead, do it. I'll take it.
They
But,
say in the realm of magic and mystical, and in my
okay.
head, they say being spirits and our spirit team, that you get into that because you needed someone to be that for you when you were younger.
Yeah, you're on par. You're
Yeah.
spot on.
Okay. So continue.
Yeah. So,
We'll
exactly.
save that for our reading.
Yeah. Stay tuned. We're going to do a reading in the
Yes.
next few episodes, which I'm so excited for. I'm like, let's do it now. But not actually. We have some priorities today.
Oh,
But yeah, what I was saying is so exactly on par with what you just said. I went to school, and during that time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start healing my inner child and give her the things that she deserves. So I started doing that. And the minute that I graduated university and crossed that stage, I thought to myself, I am not meant to be doing this. This is not my journey. This is not my
mhm.
path.
You needed at the time, the things you learned there were
Yeah.
definitely healing for you,
Oh, yeah.
but you left school a different person than the gal, the adult child
Yeah.
that entered school.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And yeah, I listened to my intuition. I did not. So I did what I thought mom and dad would be very proud of. So I went and got a teaching position. I was working with children with autism. I burnt out in less than 9 months. And I hit rock bottom, I would say, in terms of my mental state. I had never felt not like on the side of depressed, but just so lost. Like I just had no idea what I was supposed to do
It
with my
was
life.
your
And it,
identity. You had this vision of what our parents, they do it because they love us,
yeah.
but they give us like a 6, 7, 8 step plan.
Mm-hmm.
Go to school, get an education, graduate high school, go to university, get a job, get married, buy a house, retire and die.
Yep.
That's their plan.
Yep. And it's so closed. It's like so inside the box. Like I bitch want to take a step out.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
safe for you to do that. It was safe
Mm-hmm.
for you to follow the rules and just do the steps.
Yeah.
But you knew you were destined for more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Follow your
Exactly.
passion and the money will follow, but you have to give yourself 100% permission
Mm-hmm.
to receive the abundance. You have to know
Yeah.
you deserve it.
Mm-hmm. And I still honestly struggle to that this day is understanding. I've done so much self-love work and self-worth work for, I really love who I am. I think I'm awesome, but I think I have a lot of blocks in terms of finances, my limiting beliefs around finances, and just what I'm deserving of. So that's like really what I'm working on now. That's 2025. Well,
Oh, that's going to
from
happen in
now.
2024
And,
because we're going to do that in our session.
oh, are
We're
we?
going to get that block on. Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
do
I
it.
find that that's my greatest gift for people is seeing where you are now, where you want to be, and getting rid of all the roadblocks that are getting you there. Like
Yeah.
I always say I'm like your life path GPS. Like I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
there's a crash over here, there's a speed cam over there, like there's
Yeah.
construction over here. Like I know a faster route. Are you going to take it? Yay or nay?
Yeah.
Are you going to take it?
Yeah.
Today might be a subway
Exactly.
day because the roads are blocked. The
Angela, take the
DVB
wheel.
has a bike rally race happening on today. What?
Oh God, don't get me
Yeah,
started on that.
right.
Of course. And then after that, I moved to a different job and I was making as much as I could possibly make in the field. I was making a lot, like the most
Good
amount of
thing.
money I thought was possible for me based on the experience that I had. And I knew that this was going to be the most I'd ever make. I'm making good money, but I am so unfulfilled. I don't see myself going anywhere else, and this is not the life I want. So, started a podcast, quit my job,
And here we are.
continued the healing, and now my journey is like just spreading the love with other people because love is so beautiful and our life is so beautiful. Love is beautiful too, but life is so beautiful that I feel like it's in my heart to like share that with other people.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what a question I had for you is how can this is kind of what I struggle with. And I feel like if I struggle with it, a lot of people probably do as well. I don't feel like I have like the abilities like you do. Like some people I feel like just know like yes, I have psychic abilities. I am super into like my spirituality, you know, like I feel like it's taken me a lot of work to get to where I am now. It's not something that I was born with.
No,
Um
I'm going to stop you there.
okay.
I believe every single person is born with it.
Okay.
And at some point, we have life experiences that either allow us to believe it's real or allow us to forget.
Okay.
I think we're taught so much about our five senses. Like, how young are you when you learned about taste, touch, feel, scent,
Yeah.
smell,
Yeah.
right? We learned that so young. And that if you
Yeah.
can't experience it with that, do you know how every child I meet, I tell them, somebody one day is going to tell you magic doesn't exist, but you're going to remember me, and I'm going to tell you a secret that it does.
Mm.
And that I hope you never stop believing in it,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because everybody has the gift. I truly believe that.
Mhm.
You've had that intuition in the pit of your stomach,
Mhm.
right? You
Mhm.
have it. You just don't know how to use it every day.
Yeah.
You rely on
Yeah.
your five senses. And although you're healing and you're opening up, somewhere along the lines, somebody hurt you, broke your trust,
Mhm.
your intuition, you were taught you should trust this person
Mhm.
or persons. And then you learn to not trust your intuition because somewhere you probably were like, I don't really like this person.
Yeah.
And you had to like them anyways,
Yeah. That's a
right?
good point.
So we're taught to ignore it. We're taught
Mhm.
to be polite. We're taught to be nice. We're taught to follow the 8-step plan and everything will be okay.
Mhm.
But you were destined for more.
Yeah, for
So here we
sure.
are. And like I said, I didn't come into the broom closet until I was 40.
Oh, wow. Really? Wow.
So there's lots of time.
Yeah. And speaking on that too, like reflecting back, I think for me, maybe like I always was very positive as a child, and everyone always told me like I was an only child, I was an only grandchild. So a lot of people told
Wow.
me like you're just such like such the light in our family, you know? But then like you said, I think a lot of that intuition was suppressed at a young age. And I guess kind of where I'm going with that is that how can someone who feels so disconnected to that part of themselves like lean into it? Because it took me a long time and like a lot of learning. And not a lot of people have that opportunity even to realize, oh, this is something I want to do.
Yeah. Um, I would say that it's a lot easier now because of
Mm-hmm.
social media, because of the internet,
Mm-hmm.
because you have knowledge at your fingertips. I didn't have that. I had to read the hardcover book. There was no internet. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I had to read the book. I didn't, there was no community that I knew of that I could go to find this information out,
Mm-hmm.
right? What I say is to go back to childhood wonder.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best place to start. Go back. Start to be present in the moment. Literally smell the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Get a wish, like a dandelion, and make a wish and blow on it.
Just like you would as a kid.
You know? I mean, you're going to know better now not to breathe in. You're going to push it out, right? Like,
Yeah.
right? When you see 1111, make a wish.
Mm-hmm.
Notice the signs. Notice the cardinal. Notice the butterflies. Talk
Mm-hmm.
to bees.
Yeah.
Look for fairies. They're out
Mm-hmm.
there. I promise you that. Right? Not to sound crazy, but if you know, you know,
Of
right?
course.
But go back to that childhood wonder because that's where it all stopped and that's where you need to pick back up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Up
Yeah.
until 2020, when I came into the spiritual room closet, I used to do tea and tarot at the salon. I would
Okay.
hire somebody to come in and do the readings. I'd pay somebody
Wow. When you were,
because I had such imposter syndrome
yeah.
and I had such, I won't say low self esteem, but I didn't, I thought I had a photographic memory, which is why I could read cards so well because I just
Mm.
read what they were about and I knew what the card meant.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I don't ever like I have decks all over my table right now, and I have none of the books, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
even look at the books anymore. If you look, I could open any box and you'll see that there's not a crease in the book because I don't bother with it.
Yeah.
right? Because now I just trust myself. I
Mm-hmm.
trust that the messages are coming through. But you have to start with seeing the signs. You have to get in touch. You have to walk barefoot. The simplest of things.
Yeah.
Become childlike again.
Yeah. Makes sense because I think that's where I started. And what is so cool, I think when people hear that, especially the listeners, when you hear like, oh, tune into that inner child, for some it can be so difficult, right? And thinking like, oh, how am I supposed to do that every day? But I think what happened for me, and I'm sure you can resonate, is that because I did it every day, I don't even think about it anymore. Like it's not something like, yeah, it in the beginning it was like, look at the butterfly, it must be a sign. Like always trying to be aware of those and
Yeah.
and make those wishes at 11:11. But now it's just like, oh, there's a butterfly, that's a sign, a loved one's with me. Like different things that you
Yes.
connect with that just come like programmed to you. Like when you see angel numbers, now I know like the significance of each angel number, and I'll tell
But
whoever's
that's to
around
you.
me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's for you. That's what it means for you.
Yeah.
But if you look up 333, you're going to get 15 different
Yeah.
meanings of what that angel message is. They're all different people's interpretation, but that's
Yeah.
what resonates for you. And the
Mm-hmm.
universe will always provide you, with what resonates for you. And I remember once, I have a friend who's also intuitive, and she says to me one day, Angela, you're so good at what you do, but can you do me a favor? And I said, what's that? Can you stop telling people you're not a medium? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm not a medium. And she says, what makes you think that? And I said, well, I don't see dead people because I turned it off when I was 10. I see here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but not
Yeah.
like, you know?
Yeah.
And she's just like, what? Do you think I sit down and have fucking tea with them?
Yeah.
I don't know
Of
what I
course.
thought you did.
Yeah.
But you don't? You
Yeah.
do? You don't? I don't know. Like, tell me, right? And she's like, no. She's like, often spirit will present themselves to you in a way
Mm-hmm.
that you can register. So if you're talking to somebody and your grandfather shows up,
Mm-hmm.
it's not your grandfather who's there in your head who's
Yeah.
presenting, it's theirs,
Oh.
especially if they're acting out of character.
Hmm.
Like if your grandfather's smoking and he never smoked, I can confidently say, your grandfather's here and he smoked,
Hmm.
right? That's how it
Yeah.
works. Or if my
Wow.
friend shows up in my head, but you just have to
Mm-hmm.
jump with it. You can't think. And the most questions I get all the time is actually, what does this mean? What does this mean? I was like, well, what's the first thing that you think of when you think of it?
Mm.
I can tell you, but that's
Yeah.
me. And that's why I love hypnosis so much. But anyways, we can talk about that another time. But yeah, because when I specialize in the metaphysical with hypnosis, and what I love about it is it's you experiencing it. I can tell you everything, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're in a hypnosis session and you're in a past life, you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing it. You're breathing it, you're smelling it, you're hearing the sounds, you're looking down and you're seeing what you're wearing. That's
Yeah.
you. That's not some TikTok psychic telling you what you were in a past life. That's you experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's different.
Hmm.
It's different, you know?
Very. Ah, I
But
could talk to you forever.
I know,
Sorry, go
hours and
ahead.
hours and hours. No, I'm sorry. I get excited.
Oh, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Life's so good when you are able to overcome when life cannot be that good. Because life can still, everything that I'm talking about is just how can life still be good when shit sucks? That was a podcast I put out the other day that, some people just suck. Some things in life just suck, but it's all a part of our journey. And
Hmm.
that leads me to a question I have for you is what habits do you live by yourself that helps you live a life that you love?
Um, Kind of in a sense similar to what you said about seeing the signs and now you just know what it is. A lot of that's, I don't want to say that that's a hard question because it's
Mm-hmm.
not really.
Mm-hmm.
Even, as I took a drink here, I still swirl. And I hate to
Yeah.
say this, but I'm going money, 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 clockwise to bring me the money, right? So I do live a very magical life. I have grounding sheets on my bed. I have a grounding pad under my feet right now. So while I'm sitting here, I'm grounding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very good at in the morning washing protection on, and at nighttime washing negativity off before I get into bed.
Okay.
There's a lot of very ritualistic things that I do that most people do,
Mm-hmm.
but I was born without having, whether it's good or bad, I don't know if it's good or bad, negative self-talk.
Hmm.
I don't have it. If I was
Wow.
to say I have a leg up on anybody else out there, it would be
Mm-hmm.
that.
Oh yeah, because that can
I
be
I
suffocating.
I
Sorry.
never look in the mirror and say, I don't look good today.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you, there's some days that London's like, Mom, I don't think that that's very flattering. Like, maybe you should. And I was like, well, what part of it don't you like?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, um, because I just don't care. Do you know how
Yeah.
many times? So this is really embarrassing. I don't often look at myself in the mirror, not for anything, but like I'll brush my teeth, wash my face real quick. I put honey on my face. So sometimes I'm not paying attention, but if I'm running behind, I'll skip that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
old wives' tale is that if you have a pimple, you put toothpaste on it. I don't know if you're old enough to have heard
Oh,
these
I
stories,
do
but
it. Yeah.
okay. So do you know how many times I've left my house with toothpaste on my face? Because I literally care that little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, I've got false lashes, my brows are tattooed on, my lips are tattooed on, I might throw a little bit of gloss on. I have rosacea, which gives me natural, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have to worry too much. Even if
Mm-hmm.
I'm brushing my hair, I'm looking at my hair. I don't psychoanalyze my face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person who looks and is like, you have toothpaste on your face. The amount of times is embarrassing. I went today, I actually got a pimple on my nose right here, and I literally went to Starbucks today
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
with toothpaste on my nose. And the girl
How
at the
long did
drive,
it
she was
take you?
like, no, the girl at the drive, she's like, Ange? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, what's on your nose? And I go like this, and I was like, oh, it's toothpaste. She's like, oh, you do that too? I was like, yep, I do that too. She's like, is that a witchy thing? I'm like, no, it's a teenager thing. Like,
Yeah.
but she told me, like, thank God. I mean, I was only
Mm-hmm.
going there and coming back. I work from home, but, but it happened.
Yeah. Who knows? You may have came on the show with toothpaste on your nose, but I would have
It
told
might have
you.
happened. I think somebody would have told me. I curled my hair on TikTok before he came on here. I don't know why I had 700 people watching me curl my hair today, but it happened. I'm gonna take it. Thank you, universe. Ask and you shall receive. But
Yeah.
yeah. So to live this life, I think I just don't care what anybody else thinks. I know what I
Yeah.
deserve.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped thinking about money in a negative way a long time ago. I come from nothing, like
Mm-hmm. Me too.
zero,
Mm-hmm.
and like metro housing. I grew up in Scarborough,
Mm-hmm.
so Melbourne, Nielsen and Finch,
Mm-hmm.
and we had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Star Children's Christmas Fund gave us gifts as a child because my
Mm-hmm.
mom didn't know whether or not she would have Christmas gifts for us. And one year we opened them. It was on the porch when we got home and it had our names on it. So me and my sister opened them, and then my mom really cried. But you know, I just stopped thinking of it as a negative thing.
Yeah.
Every penny I spend comes back tenfold.
Yep.
And my car is leaking. Justin's still not back, which wouldn't worry most people. But I'm like, I wonder how much it's going to cost in an Escalade to fix this.
Yeah.
I got the Escalade, didn't even know it takes premium gas.
Oh my God. I didn't know that either.
It takes premium gas. You know how expensive gas in the city is right now? When
And
most people are paying like $1.50, I'm paying $1.91
for an Escalade.
for an
That's
Escalade at
wild.
a at 120, liters to the tank.
Yeah.
So it costs a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
money to fill the tank. But I'm like excited about it every time I put gas in the tank because I know every
Mm-hmm.
penny I spend comes back tenfold, and that I'm putting gas in my tank so I can go on an adventure, so I
Yeah.
can go to the States, so
Mm-hmm.
I can go visit people, so I can go and live life, so I can go to the cottage. I'm spending money, and it's gonna come back, and it does,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you
Yeah.
just have to leap and know that the universe will catch you every single
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just have to do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, investing in yourself. I have the
Yes.
same outlook. The same outlook. Like to be quite transparent, when I quit my job, I had 3 months worth of bills covered. 3 months. I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
better than
so
me.
I'll be good for 3 months. I blew through that money in 2.5 months, and I was like, what am I supposed to do now? And I was like instilled. Like me too, I came from a home, like, we lived in government housing. We've been there. Debt was like such a bad thing. Like it was such a terrible thing. Like, the way you looked at it, and it never was a way of like, oh, debt can be used to bring you places and to invest in yourself. It was always never go in debt. Debt is terrible for you. If you can't buy something twice
And
with
then
cash.
you have rich dad poor dad who tells you to go and you never buy things with your money. The
Yeah.
interest is better.
Yes.
Pay
I literally
interest.
have that book on my table right now.
I have it right here somewhere. Actually, I think London's reading it right now. I
Yeah.
typically have it here. Um, you have no idea. One of my many jobs I've had was an investment planner.
Mm-hmm.
So I also have my CFP. So I have a degree in psychology. I have my CFP. I'm kind of one of those people.
Yeah. We got a little bit of
I sell
everything. She's
life
sprinkled.
insurance. Yeah,
She's like a sprinkled.
so where I get all this wisdom tinsel from, right? But
Yeah.
um, I have no problems. I have no problems
Yeah.
using other people's money
Mm-hmm.
to do, like the bank's money to borrow money to do those. If they're going to lend me the money,
Yep. Me
I'm going to
too.
do what I do, and I'm going to use that as a catalyst to get more.
Touching on where you were talking about, like getting your lashes done and you like the cosmetics, right? I was actually having a conversation with my husband about that the other day, and I was talking to him about how like, this is how much I spend a month on me, like just, getting my lashes done, getting my nails done, getting my pedicure, those and a Brazilian. Those are my four
Yeah.
things that I get every month, every month.
If you weren't so
And
far, I'd say let's really become friends. You're not a friend of mine unless I've seen your vagina. I hate to say that.
Anywho, I guess I'll close with a question
Okay.
because I've taken a lot of your time already and I really appreciate you being here. But my final question is, would you say that it is possible to love your life even when it gets hard?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
100%. With the idea and the mindset that every penny you spend comes back tenfold. That's a vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So with all the negative, if you put it out there that this is happening right now, but it's
Mm-hmm.
the ripple effect that expands and expands and expands and expands, that ripple effect, once it hits a side, will then come back. But
Mm-hmm.
now that ripple's coming back at so far away. So just like the money, when something bad happens, no matter if you aren't loving your life right now, that's going to expand out and come back in. And if you just
Mm-hmm.
set the intention that even though I'm going through this right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's not always going to be like this. The sun always comes out, no matter how stormy it gets.
Yeah.
The sun always comes out. That's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Also, knowing that something that I like to live on, if something's really bothering me right now, I like to say, is it going to bother me in 5 years from now? My truck leaking,
Yeah.
6 months old.
Mm-hmm.
My truck leaking at 6 months old. Is that going to bother me in 5 years from now?
No.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to give it 5 minutes now.
I
I'm going to
like
ask the universe
that.
to take care of it
Yeah.
and bring me something better. Maybe Justin got a new client out of it.
I always like to think that there's no such thing as like a negative experience because there's always a
A lesson,
positive or a lesson, yeah, out of
silver
it no
lining,
matter what. Yeah,
this or
exactly.
something better.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, thank you
You're
so,
most
so
welcome.
much for being here. It is such a pleasure to have you on here. But if you also
Thank
just
you.
want to share where people can find you, any services that you offer that people would be interested in doing.
I do all things magical, and if you'd like to share some energy with me, if you'd like to use my, I always say I'm the psychic best friend you didn't know you needed. And if ever you'd like to share energy with me, you can find me on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, Your Beauty Witch in the Six. If you're a fellow Canadian, you can reach out on Instagram. But if you're outside of Canada, you can purchase a session with me. Link in my bio if you feel called to.
Oh, thank you again so
You're
much,
most welcome.
Angela. It has been such a pleasure. And to all the listeners, stay tuned because our story is not over with Your Beauty Witch in the Six.
Thanks for having me.